This week on Myopia Movies, we watched A Terrifying Child and Gigolo Joe. We're doing AI Artificial Intelligence, the Kubrick film made by the least Kubrick director there is, Steven Spielberg. As we continue our AI Toys Come to Life, I forget what it is, but it's a 3D movie. Anyway, thanks for doing all you do to keep us relevant. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for putting us on the charts. And thank you for continuing to do those things. If you're interested in picking a movie for us, we have an ongoing list on our Amazon page. But if you have something that you think would work out better, please consider it. Send us a message and we can put it on there. And if you pick us a movie, we will not only thank you in the episode and allow you to plug whatever you want, but further, we will record a riff of us watching it and put it embedded into a video file just for you. So thank you for doing that, and we appreciate you. Enjoy. Welcome to Myopia Movies. We're continuing our Dolls Come to Life movie with a real downer.
Nick's laughing because I'm very depressed about this movie.
So, we'll talk about it, but we watched AI, Artificial Intelligence. Once again, Steven Spielberg working with the Illuminati to predict the future. I'm your host, Nick Hoffman, riffer on Cineprov, and on panel we've got...
Alex, what's up, people?
And Kieko, also riffer on Cineprov.
I will just add, Alex, follow him on... Oh, no. I'm the one who's writing, and he should be, because he is the clever of us.
I don't know about that. Follow Nick's Substack.
He does.
I do.
And it's
great.
I do too.
Early adopter.
History.
Early adopter.
For a very old platform. So we watched AID, Artificial Intelligence, and I don't know where Nora's going to put this, but a friend of the show, Daniel Suttis, had opinions on this, and we've talked about them before in previous episodes. He couldn't make it tonight, but just as a brief overview, this is Pretension's Owns. Stanley Kubrick wanted to make this movie. The story goes there were scripts and all this stuff, and this was going to be his picture after Eyes Wide Shut, and then he passed before it could be made. And so Spielberg picked it up, and I will say two things. First of all, I think this movie is very good. But I think Spielberg, in the mode of doing a Kubrick movie, lacks a lot. And that's, I think, going to be the thing we're going to talk about the most, because Spielberg's movies are very dialogue-forward, talky-talky, interactions between people, and Kubrick's are much more slow and dramatic. I mean, the previous episode, the only one we've done that's Kubrick adjacent is The Shining, and that's a lot of dramatic pauses and awkward pacing and weirdness, and that's not what Spielberg is. We've done a bunch of Spielberg on this, and it's all smarty smart, talky talk, and this movie, when it stops, it's very much like, but what about Haley Joel Osment's eyes? And you're like, okay, this might be the most awkward Italian dinner since... Oof. Anyway, I saw this in theaters. Keiko, what about you?
I don't remember if I saw it in theaters, but I do remember like watching it and liking it. I don't remember it giving me such a feeling of
hopelessness.
Yes, and I don't know if that's like in the first 2 minutes of the movie.
Years later.
Yeah, it's like in the first 2 minutes, it's like the world has been flooded. And climate change has ruined everything, and all the corporations, and it's all this stuff, and I'm like, wow, it's so funny that 15 years ago they thought this was like so unrealistic and so like futuristic, and like this
9/11.
Yeah, this is just like stuff that we just like wake up and see on our phone when we scroll every day, like, oh great, Manhattan, got flooded or whatever, like, so. Yeah, I don't remember just feeling so down about it.
Yeah, because we're getting close to this. Like, I mean, all these movies where climate change catastrophe befalls us because of climate change, and we're just going to do it to ourselves anyways.
Yeah.
Well, and let's be clear here first. This came out a quarter century ago. This is 2001, before 9/11.
Rude.
Yeah. So it's even more like fortuitous than that. And also, just off the top, like, I said this was no Kubrick, which it's not, but it is Spielberg kind of in his prime. Like, this is a polished gem. And then when, like, William Hurt shows up, you're like, oh. And then Clark Gregg is there, and Jude Law is Gigolo Joe, and you're just like, everyone signed up to do this movie, and it's just depressing as fuck.
Yeah, and you know, the thing to read about this, Spielberg over the years has given some even pretty salty interviews about how, well, everyone assumed this part was me, and then the darker parts were Kubrick, where he says, like, actually the opposite is true. A lot of the sappy, sentimental stuff he claims was Kubrick, and a lot of the darker elements were him. So,
well, I mean, you could tell it's not Spielberg because there's no horrible divorce. There's no single parents.
I think another thing that bugged me about this was like, this was like what people thought like flying cars was going to be the future.
Sure.
And they're talking about AI, and like literally yesterday we had that corporation that fired 4,000 people because they because they discovered AI,
they're
whatever,
AI
they're AI efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is our reality, and it's not humanoid robots, but it is AI destroying us.
I will say, and this is just sort of not even related, but that a lot of that, the stuff in question where a company says we're saving so much on AI, a lot of it's to cover for their own mismanagement and incompetence. So they say, oh, we had to fire this many people because we're instituting AI in an efficient way, and we don't need them. No, a lot of times the management fucked up and they're trying to cover their own asses. That's in this case, that's more kind of what it is. Not to veer too get into a current events.
I mean, and let's be clear here. What's at the fundamental basis of this movie is the question of humanity, right? Like, and that's what it is. Like, who are the most human characters? And it turns out it's aliens made up mostly of Christmas lights.
Spoiler.
Fiber optic thin men.
Yeah, they look like they're what are those? Is it fiber optic lights? The ones that like they're like Christmas decorations,
the fiber optic lights
with a little string with a light at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they mashed a whole bunch of those together, and they became the perfect beings.
Yeah, been there. I was on one of the subreddits about UFOs today because I do that.
Of course.
But
oh yeah, because we also have to deal with freaking UFOs today.
Dude, this movie, and that's also the other side of it. It's like, so what do you want on your grinder? And it's like, do you also want the hot honey? I'm like, I guess I'll have that. But do you want the pepperoncinis? And you're just like, whatever, I guess. But do you want the French dip? And you're just like, is this a sandwich anymore? Because kind of at the end, it's not even a sandwich anymore. Because this like little toe-headed child is also like, are alien? Am I in Star Wars Episode 2? Like, it's kind of like this movie is held together mainly with like string, and at the end, the movie just kind of turns to dust. Like,
well, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, and that's fine. We can go back to it, but I just wanted to mention this. So I was talking to my husband about this, and he said that he worked at the movie theater when this came out. So he actually watched it.
He was probably my coworker. We've
talked
about this before.
So he said he didn't remember you. I asked him today, though. So he doesn't know if...
I'm completely unmemorable.
But so he said that he watched it in the theater, and he notably was irritated by the seemingly second ending, because it almost seems as though the movie ends and then it just
goes on for 24 more
continues.
minutes. Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if that was like a screening thing. Like maybe, they were like, that's it, that's the end. And then they screened it and people like, cried or killed themselves or something. And so they added the,
we all remember the mass suicides after this came out.
Was that a thing? Did that happen back then? Anyway, that's all I wanted to mention is that
we all seem baffled.
I enjoyed the last 30 minutes. I
remember thinking like it took a very long time, and then I was like, then the narrator shows back up. And
Yeah.
it does feel like a different movie for about 30 minutes or whatever you said. I'll do the plots. Anyone want to do the plot stops? I'll do it, but...
Do it. I can contribute. We can all contribute, maybe.
All right, so back in the box, very quickly, it's the not too distant future, next Sunday AD. Essentially, global warming has happened, as you said, but also we're just kind of sort of in a post-necessity environment. Everyone is satisfied, and because of the apocalyptic nature of what's going outside, people are having less kids, we're told, and these kind of... I mean, they say AI is the name of the movie, but it's really androids that are walking around. These are autonomous robots of various capacities, but what's going on effectively is the person in charge of one of these many, we're told later, many programming companies, played by William Hurt, is a guy named Professor Hobby. And his desire is to essentially replicate human emotion. We're not exactly told why he's so obsessed with this, but it's done in a very walk and talk Aaron Sorkin kind of like... The problem is humanity is lacking, not because humanity is lacking, but because we need interaction with these machines we are dealing with. And I'm just exactly the perfect coworker, member of my company who needs this. Insert the family that we're talking about, the Swintons. And effectively what has happened is their son had an incident where now he's in cryogenic freezing because he's dying otherwise. And in order to help the mother cope, who's having a very hard time, Monica, William Hurt offers to Henry the first android
Prototype
child. And the whole thing, which is very Kubrick, the idea is, what is humanity? Is it this child? Is it love? Is it compassion? How do we teach these? Like to me, he watched Jane Goodall dealing with the apes. And like, there's this idea of like, what makes humanity? I mean, it's what The Shining is about. It's what 2001 is about, right? Like, this is it's even to a dark extent what A Clockwork Orange is about. Like, to quote Jay Sherman from The Critic, movies need to be about people. This is a movie about people. The reason this is on this podcast, though, is it's because Kubrick died, and this is a Spielberg picture. And Spielberg has a very different view of who humans are than Stanley Kubrick. Kubrick is a person who deals purely in Freudian terms of people who are extremes, and how do we wrangle these extremes, even if the extreme is neutrality and stoicness. On the other hand, Spielberg is someone who always believes people fight for goodness. 100%. It's not like, even like Indiana Jones does not punch someone because they are neutral. They're evil. God damn it, they are evil. In Close Encounters of the Third Kind, they're evil. E.T. is eternally good, right? Like, that's how he works. He works in extremes. And this movie is desperate for gray area. Can you love your computer? This isn't Mannequin. You can't fuck her. Although, I'll tell you what, Jude Law and Kim Cattrall, dude, we got
that's a match. That's a match made in dystopian nightmare world heaven.
Don't worry, both of you. I'm done with my high horse. We're okay.
Well, and from there, like with this story, I think the main issue is that this, like,
I'm Gigolo Joe.
Haley Joel Osment, David, the kid, is programmed to love someone, and the parents, if they decide to keep him, and there's like big red warning labels and everything, it says you have to say like a password to basically have the child imprint on you and feel those feelings of love.
I'll tell you, I tell you, when he actually shows emotion, did it break your heart? Mom! Dude, it sucks.
It was really interesting because like I was like feeling, you know, because I told Chris, I was like, well, let's watch it again because
as a womb haver,
he remembered it from before having kids, and I was like, I wonder if it's different now that we have kids. And so it was, but not in how he expected. So for him, he said that the first time he watched it, pre-kids, he like empathized with the robot and all the robot characters.
No.
But this time, with, you know, the story of her getting the robot and then their son coming home, he was like, I would have no qualms with just deactivating the robot. Like, send him back to the factory. I don't freaking care. And then especially when they started having, like, issues, even though the issues were not David's fault, they were all, like, things that were, you know, mostly from the human child.
Now, you personally, though, having watched The Electric State, did that affect you in any way?
That didn't. No, I felt nothing for anyone at all. No, that's not true. I did like that taco piano robot.
Oh, the taco piano.
He was good. He was fun.
But I was just throw out there watching this because, first of all, that movie wishes it was it.
Yeah.
This movie, I will say no one talks about. Thank you for listening. But, like, I feel like a lot of things ripped this off, including Electric State, but also the Blade Runner 2035, like the visual screens and the highlights outside.
Or like Ex Machina.
Ex Machina, which is a masterpiece.
Yeah,
but like,
it's very good.
It saw this.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, and again, we made fun of Electric State, but like when they're at that like weird amusement park, it felt like they were at the amusement park here, the Flesh Circus or whatever. Yeah. Which also feels very much like the Tim Burton Dumbo, like, because the problem is, I will poke fun at this movie a lot because I feel like there's problems with it, but it's still fucking Spielberg, and there's a delightful sheen on this.
Yeah.
And this to me fits right in the middle of some of his weird sci-fi movies. If you have not seen Minority Report, if you have not seen his War of the Worlds, if you have not seen, like, he does alien weird sci-fi very well, and people think of him as this blockbuster magnate, which he is, but he's also just a weird kind of quirky dude who likes these weird movies, and God bless him for that, because we need people. To me, he justifies people liking weird shit, and this is a weird shit movie because not for 1 second, we'll do iRobot at one point. The problem with iRobot is the whole time Will Smith's like, what's wrong with you? You've been living with these things for 20 years. He acknowledges, like, no one's weirded by the robots as a rule. It's just this one who's supposed to be a kid that people are weirded out by. Like, he understands the rules to the game he's playing, which is cool.
Yeah, this is another example of a movie that I've seen in little bits and slivers and pieces over the years, and I don't think I'd ever seen it all the way through, amazingly enough.
Really?
Really. I mean, that's
so
another one of those for me.
I'll ask you, then, what do you remember? Is there a scene you pick out? Because there's a few scenes in this that just stick with me. So, since you only saw it in parts beforehand, was there a scene you remembered before you rewatched it?
Oh gosh, I don't know if anything really sticks out there. I think I went into this movie just not with no real expectations or remembering many scenes or interactions or dynamics of it really. So,
what about you, Kiega?
It's like a first watch for me.
See, because for me, I remembered him plunging into eternity for 1,000 years. Right? Even like I didn't remember the details exactly. I just was like, I think they're aliens at the end of this shit. Like you know, because I was just like, was he frozen in ice? Like, I just remember, like,
I think you were abducted.
And then, like, because like the narrator goes, and then he went down for 1,000 years. He woke up and There were aliens. Pepperidge Farms, remember? Like I don't know what happened exactly, but I just remember the apocalypse, and that was it. And I just remember, like, I like Return of the King, but everyone's joke is that it has 7 endings. I just remember this having like, I thought the movie was over. Oh no! We have 45.
Now
minutes
you get aliens. No, now you get child suicide.
Attempted. So the narrator was
whoa! Attempted.
He failed. I mean that was chilling. Not to go too far ahead, man. That look on his eyes as he's sitting on the ledge.
Haley Joel. Is he the greatest child actor of all time?
I mean,
he's close.
Wow.
I think so.
Wow.
Because like he was nominated for Sixth Sense, I believe.
Yeah. Best support. Did he win? He didn't win it, did he?
I don't think so. No, he was lead. He was best lead for that.
Oh, it was? Okay.
But I don't think he won. But like, because it's him, it's Macaulay, it's Shirley Temple, like...
Yeah, but he's on it, like...
he's like on another level.
Like, even
but
really
he's
is.
like a child, too,
Yeah.
because, like... Wizard of Oz, she's like 16. Like, no, this kid is like, especially in Sixth Sense, when he goes, I see dead people and you shit yourself, he's like 8. Like, he is the child.
And then, didn't he, like, stop acting for a long time?
So he's been...
For like 30 years, but he's back.
He's been around. Yeah, he's done some comedy stuff.
I remember he was in some kind of futuristic something or other, like, a few years ago.
He had a character arc in Silicon Valley for one.
He was good in that.
He shows up in the comedy world and sort of the Comedy Bang Bang extended, you would go on that podcast or sort of that universe of podcasts, and he was on the TV show for that. So he's done some really, really funny things that I've seen him in.
I mean, but like...
Yeah, what I saw him in, it was like more comedy.
He's funny.
He's very funny. And like, and to your point though, like, he disappears from existence for a while, which, I mean, he kind of deserves to.
Yeah.
Like,
he's had some run-ins with... He's had a few incidents publicized where he... maybe sort of a little intoxicated in public and acting a little rowdy, but...
You're talking to me. We're fine. I will just toss out there for a second. If I don't know where it is anymore, but there was a show called The Spoils of Babylon. If you have not seen it, it's like one of these overly emotional, like, my God, I'm so in love with you, kind of like... But it was done on Comedy Central, I believe. And it stars Tobey Maguire in love. But it's like Kristen Wiig, Will Ferrell, Tim Robbins, Jessica Alba, Val Kilmer, and like the young brother who's trying to throw a wrench into everything is Haley Joel Osment, and he's very funny in it. Like, it is like 6 episodes or something. It's a very, very funny. In that like 2014, 2015 era where there was like another period, like Drunk History, where they were just giving alt comedians shit to do. And I forget if it was Comedy Central or IFC, but it was just this kind of like weird stuff. And so because of that, not unlike someone like a Quentin Tarantino or Kevin Smith, they would just they would put old actors in. Like, Haley Joel, you want to be the villain? You have a beard now, and you're like a big dude, and you want to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, he looks a little different now.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking guy. He's got a distinctive look to him.
He's the guy on the back of like a novel who's just wrote something very introspective, right?
I forgot that he voiced Sora in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
One of my favorite video games.
And like, it just, he had this run because he did Sixth Sense, Pay It Forward, and AI in like 2 years.
Pay It Forward.
I know. Not a dry eye.
Hey, he was in Happy Gilmore too?
He was.
I still haven't seen that.
It's fine.
I've got Netflix for a while. I could do that one on an afternoon.
I'm trying to find what that last thing I saw him in. It was like a futuristic thing. I think he was like a villain, and I can't find it.
Was it in Bloodweed?
He's been working pretty
That
consistently.
doesn't sound familiar. It was like he was like in this the impression that I can remember, it was like some other planet, like sort of like a desert landscape, and he's in this like futuristic.
There's a show he's in called Future Man. Was that the impression that you get?
No, I don't.
Knock on wood.
Was it
I've
Wednesday?
never
Was it
known
Wednesday Addams?
He's in Wednesday, I think, isn't he? He's in the Kaminsky Method. He's in Kingdom Hearts. He's in Aquafina from Queen.
Yeah, I was just looking through. I couldn't find it. Maybe it was a plot in Wednesday. It just doesn't sound like what I remembered. Anyway, whatever. It's
We can
irrelevant.
keep looking. He was in What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh yeah, he was Topher.
Yeah. He's in Drugstore June, the Naboo movie.
He'll just pop up in something, and I'll be
you'll
delighted to
it's
see
Taylor
him.
Joel Osment.
I'm glad he works, man. I'm like, no, truly, like, I just like that these people survive. It seems like so much of this shit is awful.
Yeah, apparently he had pretty supportive parents. It wasn't that.
It wasn't a Culkin.
Not a
Culkin.
not a stage mom or dad bad situation there.
No.
I mean, his sister, of course, is
The Human
oh
Stain.
God, what's her? I mean, Hannah Montana. She's in that CBS show now. It's like the Young Sheldon spinoff.
Hey, you
What is
know
her
what,
damn
man?
name?
I wish I had young Sheldon money.
Oh, absolutely. Those Chuck Lorre sitcoms, man. Yeah, it's not bad to have.
All right.
But anyway, he's great. Bottom line, he's a fantastic actor. Haley Joel Osment.
Wow.
Agreed.
You look like you need a hug.
No, I'm good.
So, where do you want to start? I mean, not that we haven't been starting, but like the problem with this plot is it's heartrending, and I don't know where to go with this. Like, the idea that my child is in a coma, the jerk one, and they're like, you know what he needs? To be read Pinocchio to. That won't matter later. And like the whole notion is, where is humanity? What makes up humanity? And turns out it's a jerk kid who's a jerk.
Yeah, and that's like, I think that's the point, right? Is that this robot kid is seemingly innocent and sweet, and he's just constantly like, first of all, the human kid is a jerk to him constantly,
Right.
like purely cruel and mean to him.
He sees him as a toy. He sees him as an advanced toy, which he called him basically. It's like, what can you do as a toy?
Yeah, but then it gets more sinister,
Sure.
where he's like, go cut some of mommy's hair and she'll love you more. Or, you know what? That's actually the scene that I remember, is the spaghetti scene, or no, the spinach. When they're eating
really
spinach
dies, yeah.
and his face melts. Which also, why would they not have, like, why would the mouth actually be connected to the innards of the robot? Like, why wouldn't they just...
There's some holes here. Also, he can be submerged in water and his face doesn't melt, but he puts some
some
steamed spinach in his mouth and his head melts. I'm not quite sure I get that. You know, as someone who's not a parent, like you were saying that you guys were watching it, and at least
I felt sympathy for him.
Oh yeah, for
the
David,
robot.
for
For the robot
David,
boy.
yeah. So I mean, I look at those parents, and their kid is a little shit, and I mean, if I was just thinking, like, if I were the parent, I mean, yes, the David is buggy, and he's obviously, like, you know, at some point Elon Musk will rush a whole bunch of robots into production, and they'll be totally not ready for the market like David is. So, but yes, there's some flaws here, and he's pretty uneven. But like, your kid's a little shit, and if I were if I were those parents, I'd be like, we can make this work. He's actually pure, and he means well, and my kid's a little shit.
Also, like, part of the joy of having kids is watching them grow, and I feel like that's a huge, like, as a parent, you're like, I'm just glad that they won't be little forever, because that's a nightmare.
Well, but I think you're absolutely right. Like, you have a kid who's in a coma and in cryogenic stasis. What if you have a living version of the same thing? right? Like it's very interesting.
But forever?
But-
Forever?
but-
They're going to grow old and die? And
But like, it's so funny because as we're recording, I just have adopted a new dog, and the idea, hopefully, is that the dog becomes part of the family. This is the reverse, which is that the person who needs to be trained is the mother, right? Like the dog, in this case, Haley Joel Osment, David, wants to be part of the family. And she's not sure about it yet. Like I said, it feels like it's the reverse.
well, and she very quickly decides to activate him, even though she locked him in a closet at one point.
I want to see the script here because you're right, but it feels like this could almost be a trilogy of films. Like, I feel like her feelings in this are glossed over very quickly.
Yeah. She goes from being so uncertain about him that she locks him in a closet for seemingly a long time.
We're playing hide and seek. Is this
Yeah.
a game?
Found you.
And it's funny because I feel like this is what people think AI is going to be. There's two extremes. There's Terminator and pornography. And in the middle, there's this movie, which is almost pornography. But I just don't... This movie feels like it's got a lot of good ideas, but none of them are carried through, perhaps. And because of that, I feel like Spielberg is trying to make a movie out of someone else's thoughts. And he does the Spielberg job of this. And it looks very polished. It looks very clean. The actors are interesting. I just don't know if it's fully a movie. It presents a thesis, but I don't know if it comes up with a concluding paragraph in the way we want. Because just as we think we're getting there, aliens show up. And that's not the point of the movie at all.
Well, either they could have stayed with the family and
They
had
could.
this, whatever this... I was getting, like, Good Son vibes,
Oh, absolutely.
Like-
Yeah.
So...
Martin's a little,
Yeah.
I was
Little
really
psycho.
hoping that ugly kid who looks like him really was going to turn out to be Elijah Wood. Like, he looks like Elijah. Because Elijah Wood opposite Haley Joel Osment, I mean, they're the same height. But, like, it really does have that dynamic, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Because
where...
she goes, he doesn't have the eyes. And I'm like, you know who does have those eyes?
So either it could have stayed with the family, or it could have,
It's
done-
3 movies, man.
He has this adventure, right? Where that could have been a cute movie if they actually focused more on his like adventure, like his misadventures as he gets out and about in the world. But they don't really that much. There's the Turning Point USA concert. That's the
Weird.
the Flesh Fair.
I mean, we've all been to a flesh fair.
But why would they call it a flesh fair when it's mechas?
Because they're destroying the mechas for flesh.
Up with flesh, down with
Bone.
Is that
No, I don't know.
doesn't really work very well?
It's just a dildo.
And then and then you have to deactivate him.
Thank you, Alex. Alex laughed at my joke about
I left the word dildo.
You have to
rolls off
deactivate
the
him.
tongue in English. Dildo.
I'm trying.
Dildo.
Did you say Gildo?
A dildo. That's for ladies. One of those things that lick on the bits. A dildo.
Anyway,
I can show you.
I'm sure Jude Law has.
Gigolo Joe.
some of
He-
those.
By the way,
He can lick on the bits.
I mean, I'll tell you what, Haley Joel Osment is excellent at this. He's better than his parents. He's better than that shit-eating kid. But then Gigolo Joe shows up and I'm like, guess
What-
whose movie I'd rather watch?
Yeah. What do you know?
I mean, should have had a spin. A prequel should have had a prequel of him just tearing through the flesh, ladies of the flesh.
Dude, it is just Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It's just like, we were at the end of the desert And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
the ladies took hold.
And it's not a family movie. It's not a kid movie. I'm glad I didn't let my kids watch it because I feel like for me,
It's too darn sad.
Well, there's also a murder, like,
Most foul. Yeah.
and so that's weird. Also, we haven't talked about Teddy yet, and he's one of my favorite.
Oh boy! So I was watching this, and my wife came downstairs. I put one kid to bed, she put the other. I put the kid to bed first, and I was watching it, and she goes, "You watching that Ted movie?" And I was like, no. This one is dire.
Yeah, this is the non-funny sad.
There's
one.
no joy here. Mark Wahlberg said no.
Yeah, I really loved Teddy. He was my favorite character in the whole movie.
He moved things along.
There's a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead movie with just Teddy's just like, I'm a bear. Ha! Kids today, they're robots. Like,
No, David, you'll break.
no, David, you can't watch your mom in the shitter. That's just wrong. Here, Mom.
The
you can
worst
wipe.
was when the brother tries to get him to do the old, like, come see who he comes to see who his favorite is. And then the bear gets so upset.
The bear says, "Mommy." He runs over
Mommy,
to
he runs
Monica.
away. Because he is that human that he understands the complexity of hurting one of these two boys.
I think we should have focused a whole lot more on Teddy and his struggles and
Yeah.
arc. He didn't have much of an arc.
Also,
but he should have had one.
I don't know if you guys noticed this near the end of the movie, in the last 30 minutes in the alien segment. The aliens have created an artificial world for David, like built in great detail everything of their home. And Teddy is sitting there sewing himself back together because the aliens didn't give him anything.
No.
Teddy's like, it's a living.
Yeah, he's totally like...
Teddy Ruxpin's like fucking done with this world, man.
He's sentient. He moves the plot along. He saves his ass
He's
a few times.
caring.
He keeps the hair, which he
Yeah.
probably didn't know why he was keeping that hair, but he
Dude.
did.
You know Spielberg had some like niece or whatever who's like wanted a tickle me elbow or a Furby. He's like, I'll give you a fucking Furby. This bear won't die. And it's just like, because like, I want to again. You're absolutely right. We need Teddy's like again Rosencrantz and Guildenstern like just like, oh god, the kids are bickering again. Time for Teddy to drink because he's always just like on the edge of. He's like a Gilbert Godfrey, like just like punching someone. It's really remarkable. And he just shows up now and again, and I know I'm giving a little bit too much Bronx, but he's like, Teddy's tired of you right now. Like, he's just down and he's done with everything.
Yeah.
And he should be, because this is shenanigans.
He's a super toy.
I wish you're not only... There needs to be more of him being snarky. Because this world is just so awful. And unfortunately, David, who is our guide, is just nonsense. It's we're told you'll never guess what this is based on watching it, but it's probably Pinocchio because we're referenced it 80% of the time.
Yeah.
And he's, I guess, Jiminy Cricket. But Jiminy Cricket told us to fuck off now and again. Like truly, he's like, you know, this is a bad idea. You shouldn't go to that thing that makes you turn into a donkey, which is pure body horror, which we never get here. There's no repercussions, except for the fact that we're pinned under a Ferris wheel, like we are at that. Again, it's Pinocchio, where they go to the thing. What is it called?
In Pinocchio?
Yeah,
It's like the circus.
Yeah.
Well, no, where the boys go, where they turn into
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't
whatever.
remember what it's
but
called.
like, it's a fairground where they're drinking and they're smoking and they're playing cards. Well, he gets pinned under a Ferris wheel. Like to me, in my mind, that's where they've gone. In fact, they're even at Pinocchio World at the time, just to make sure they're not sued by Disney. I don't know how far we are actually in the plot, but
I don't know. I think
we're 40 minutes into the recording.
I think the furthest we've really gotten is honestly before the mom.
Yeah.
Well, then catch us up, Kieko, please.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've talked about the weirdness that happens. Basically, now they're faced with putting him down. So she's going to drive him out to the farm. And at the last minute, she decides to keep driving and take him into the woods, into a jungle.
We're going to play picnic, right, Mommy?
He's like,
this is heartbreaking.
Are those happy tears? What are we going to have for dinner? Like, he just has no idea. And so they go out into the wilderness and she tries to leave him.
Well, and I don't know what the scene was that broke you the first or second or third time, but he had been calling her Monica. And then she says, whatever it is, 7, 8 words in a certain order. And he goes, Mommy, why did you say that? And she starts crying. And the son that was in cryogenic stasis wakes up. And now the whole thing is, again, we're back to what is humanity. The dad was trying to comfort the wife because she was having a hard time coping. And just like when you buy a Lexus for Christmas or whatever, she's like, I appreciate it, but this is not what I need.
Children are forever, especially robot children.
Especially,
we're told.
And would it make more sense if, like, once a year you bring them in for like an aging upgrade?
An oil change.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that you could give them, like, a teenager exterior and then a young man exterior. I mean,
a weird erection that doesn't go away.
Kids are.
You're 11. You just have to deal with this boner now. Oh wait, Kiego, good luck.
Oh.
What?
No.
When boys hit like 12, this just doesn't go away.
What?
Prepare for laundry all the time.
Is that normal?
It is.
Boners?
Alex?
Well, I mean, Chris could probably prepare you for some of this.
I assume Chris has had at least 2 boners.
I mean, at least 2.
I mean,
we're friends here, I know.
The whole scene where the one that precipitates him getting taken to the farm, and I guess they just have like a disco. Like, I guess at this point the kid is just irredeemable. But he has like the protect me reaction to like Martin's friends like stabbing him with a knife. And so
no one notices.
Like they're just letting them all play near the pool, and they're not watching their own real kid or his friends or the robot boy who's probably really expensive near the pool. And so I mean, like his dick friend, the kid's a dick, and he's got dick friends, and so they're like poking him with scissors or something.
No, it's like a cake knife.
Oh yeah, it was a knife.
But, and the problem is, in my mind, the movie doesn't know what to do with it. Like truly. Because if they were a little bit younger, it feels not bad, but it feels like puckish, like weird. Like, are you a kid or not? Like, because if they were 7 or 8, that feels more like feeling out their humanity, right? But since they're older, it feels more like bullying.
Yeah.
But this is the one scene of bullying we have in the entire movie. Like, he doesn't, like, this isn't an 80s sitcom where he goes to high school with the kid. So it feels out of place. And all of a sudden we're like, then he's at the bottom of the pool like we're watching The Graduate?
Hello,
and then
darkness, my old friend.
Smash cut! Like, parsley, sage, rosemary, and WD-40. Like, it's like, this movie is all sorts of mixed messaging here. And again, I'm not blaming it.
And right after that, that's when the mom is going to talk to him and I guess tell him that they're going to take him away. And she finds all the letters that he wrote.
So she says, Mommy, I love you. And also it's Wednesday. Mommy, I love you. And it's Tuesday. And Mommy, I love you. And guess what? I ate that tampon. And whatever they say.
Well, they get like progressively. So like they start off like, "Dear mommy, Teddy taught me to write, and I love
that's sweet,
you."
and that's sweet.
And then they're like, "Dear mommy, I love you, and I'm a real boy, just like Martin." And then it's like, "Dear mommy, me and Martin are real boys, and not Teddy. I hate Teddy." And then it's just like they just get progressively crazier, where he's obviously obsessing over being a real boy.
Dear mommy, that's when the cannibalism starts.
Well, and that's when she starts crying, and she's like, "These are beautiful," but she's crying because they're scary.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't a finished product. He was rushed to market. If they had just friggin' spent a little bit more time developing him, could have been okay.
You think that whole like imprinting forever on the same person and it's irreversible? You think that was?
I mean, we lost the ability to do a damn factory reset. This isn't very advanced.
We all lost our virginity to someone, and they're never going to be replaceable. That's why we have them stuffed and mounted somewhere.
Speaking of which, obsession is not love.
Obsession is just for men. If I learned anything from Coco Chanel or Ralph Lauren, excuse me.
That's another thing this little robot kid does. Is he?
Dude,
he spills. He spills the perfume.
Is it Chanel No. 5?
Yeah.
And it's like, this hasn't existed in 80 years. You're just like, what the fuck is happening?
He's like, "I smell just like mommy."
But just like a real kid, he fucks your stuff up. You know, he wants to wear your stuff and he fucks it up.
That's fine.
That's very human.
And she's like crying, and the dad's like, "We're late! We're no longer fashionably late!" And we're just like, what movie? Oh, God, this movie is
anyway. So then,
anyway, what?
Things get really weird, and after the pool thing, when he almost
your penis, your robot penis.
That was, yeah.
I bet you it's a robot penis.
That was kind of a lot.
Butler. You're like, what? Come on.
That was a little much. I don't know. I mean, I know he's a robot.
Thank you, Spielberg.
Yeah, checking the robot boys. Well, we don't know. I guess presumably it's lifelike. I have no clue.
Oh, he's circumcised, huh?
But anyway.
Everybody around this little boy is terrible.
Yeah, really.
And I said the same thing about the other human kid when we were watching it.
Loser McLoser face.
Yeah, Martin.
He sucks.
And so the mom does what any mom would do, and she takes the good kid out to the woods and abandons him.
Macaulay Culkin have words.
And she tells him, she gives him $10, and she says, "Whatever you do,
this is all I have. I'm sorry.
Don't go that way." And she points toward the cryotronics,
or
whatever
something.
it's called.
Yes, Salvonic. We see why though, because there's like robot corpses, which is very like.
Yeah, so this is a weird scene. This is like a scary.
It's horror movie.
That's where the movie feels like a different movie again for about 30 minutes.
Not even 12 seconds.
There was the electric state definitely like there would scenes just like this in the electric state,
sort of
like
scavenging,
trying to replace their own parts. That's very derivative of this. Yeah.
Well, and I will say, the interesting thing about good directors doing these same things again. Blade Runner 2030, whatever. They're making a point. I felt like the electric state made no point, and that's the big problem with it. It was dancing around things. It was engaging with things. It just didn't have an answer. This has a response, which is the whole movie is a question of what is human, what is humanity, and I feel like the problem is maybe there's a longer cut. They are desperately trying to answer that question. I just don't feel like they get here. And this is one of those scenes that is clearly trying to make that point. We have a bunch of robots who are trying to make themselves whole by pillaging other parts. that feels awful to us. That feels grotesque. It feels horrific. But that is what humans do. We consume the flesh of other things to make us whole. But this movie does not have an answer to that question. And that's the problem here. Is what they are doing moral or not? Is it correct or not? Is it amoral or not? We don't know, because these robots are immediately the villains.
Well, they get interrupted too. Like I guess the feeling when you're watching it, when I watched it, I was like worried for him.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're gonna find
They're
him
gonna pillage him.
Yeah, which we don't know if that's, and I guess it wasn't the case.
It doesn't happen, no.
Because they get interrupted because Mad Eye Moody is flying a moon, and
that to me is the most Kubrickian this gets, but it's also so. Go ahead, because I'll explain it. But you explain the scene.
So Mad Eye Moody flies a moon over them, and some
also
of the,
drinking.
And yeah, and some of the robots say, the moon's rising, and so they know what to do. They're running away, and then some Tron guys with sharks on the front of their motorcycles come out, and they chase these robots down, and they kind of corner them, and they all run into this like shack in the woods, which is like the first place they would have been looking for, but whatever.
The woman who's the nanny is
It's like the au pair who's like singing as they're
and she's trying to like
very Holocausty, like we're hiding, I'm gonna comfort you as I die.
Yeah, well, but also it's a reminder of these robots just being programmed, because when she says I have good references, like it's not like she's not really comforting him out of a
she's desperate to survive.
I don't know if it's that. I think she's just programmed to be a nanny,
doing the only thing she can and knows how to do.
Yeah,
she has an existence, I guess. We're to believe that she's sentient and is. They don't get much into consciousness here. I don't know if the short story does, based on a short story. I don't know if they get into it in the source material.
I don't think this movie thinks anyone has consciousness, personally. No, I mean that seriously. But like, I when I saw that, I thought maybe it is just the hustle, but it's like, I can get out. I have references. Like,
I don't think that's it. I thought it was just her being like, you've got something on your shirt, like wipe cleaning up a spill. Like if somebody had tipped a cup of water in that moment, if she would have like bent over and cleaned it up, like that's what.
And we should mention here too, like most of her head is missing. It's just a face.
Yeah.
The effects in
very
this
cool
25-year-old movie look very good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a shot that I remember that I think they used a lot in the promo materials and trailer, where she's looking dead onto the camera, and then she turns her head, and she just has her face that is like mounted on the front of it. Well, but
when did this come out in relation to the new Star Wars movies?
The first one is 99.
Because
this is 2001.
Clone Wars had some of that kind of special effect.
This is 2 years before Clone Wars. Yeah. So to your point, yes. Yeah.
So then whatever, they all get captured, and then that's when they're like taken up in the net. Teddy falls to follow along and help him get out, because Teddy is the hero. But I was actually really interested in all of these side robots stories.
Yeah.
And I just, before we get too far away from it, want to talk about the moon for half a second, because the whole idea, and this is right out of a Tim Burton movie or something, but in my mind, it's the perfect metaphor for everything, which is, what is more natural than the moon rising and setting? But here it's a facade.
Oh, and it's fake, yeah.
And it's fake, and they're using it to capture the people who we think are the most human, but they're robots. Right? Like, this is very Kubrick. This is very, like, what is the artifice of humanity? And it's parodying the natural world. And later on, they see the real moon outside of humanity.
And they don't trust it.
And they're like, we should move away from the moon. And he goes, wait. The moon isn't moving. And that's maybe, perhaps in my mind, the fact that him and Lucas are buddies, and he's like, that's no moon. But there's also this bit of artifice about what is worse, humanity making something what is real fake or something fake that is becoming more real, right? It's Pinocchio and who's the villain? Pinocchio wanting to be a real boy or Geppetto making him to begin with. Mm-hmm. And that's the thesis, and that's why, to me, it is the most intriguing scene, and then fucking aliens show up. But, like, that ending, I remember, it was like, he falls forever! Why won't this movie end? But, like, this part of it, and then they go to the Flesh Farm, or whatever porno site that they're going to, the Flesh Circus, that is horrific. And they're like, oh my god, there's a child in there!
Yeah, they turn quick.
A little girl notices that there's a kid, and so her dad.
And her poor dad
comes.
Like, I'm just the sound guy at this torture factory.
And
I'm the victim here.
And we get to see the nanny get melted, and and that's the other thing. She's smiling while she's melted.
Oh, that's where it felt the most like we were reading some sort of Holocaust.
Chris Rock gets blasted through a cannon. Chris Rock just randomly shows up. That was a little disorienting.
I need to be in this movie.
I actually felt
what?
I felt really sad for the one robot that asked him to turn off his pain receptor. I was like,
yeah.
I think him and Taco Piano Guy, these like one line.
Yeah, they got their thing.
They really
got
get
their
to
one
me.
thing. They didn't ask for it. Doing the best they can.
And then David, I guess for whatever reason, decides to grab Jude Law's hand and not let go. And so Mad Eye Moody decides he's going to make a spectacle of the kid in front of everybody.
Yeah, Brendan Gleeson.
Just for half a second, we should mention who Gigolo Joe is. He's a prostitute. He is very good with the ladies. What do you know, Joe? But at one point, the guy from News Radio catches him. Not News Radio. Don't Shoot Me. The guy from Don't Shoot Me. You're looking at me crazy. But one way or another, he goes to have rough, passionate love with this woman, and he goes, "Oh, you've been crying," and her throat has been slit, and he goes, "I've been counting the seconds since I saw you last," and the dude who is her husband and presumably killed her goes, "How many seconds has it been, Joe?" And he says, effectively 3 days worth. It's a 250,000 some odd seconds. I did the math while I was watching this movie. But he essentially, the mechas, as they call them in here, who are allowed to be around, have some sort of like pass on them. But because of the death, he's afraid he's going to be fingered in the murder. So he literally cuts it out of him, which is smash cut across David hiding in the woods with Teddy. And because of that, we're now at the circus. And because of it, he doesn't have an out. Like, if he was owned by someone or if he was, like, part of the thing, he would have an identification and he could get out. But because he doesn't, they're going to destroy him. And generally, the point of what we're told the flesh circus is, these robots are being flayed, destroyed for whatever reason, because humanity feels like they're being replaced. And this is also very AI in the modern context, which is, we are being replaced by question mark.
It's not robots.
Well, but AI.
It's just not humanoid robots yet.
And so, like, I am a person who's in the humanities, and luckily after COVID, we learned that people don't learn well from screens like that. But I know a lot of people who took, like, programming, like, prep course things that are now rapidly disappearing.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to program in things like Codex. And so those courses, it just feels like those jobs are going away, and I sympathize with those people, but that's who I imagine are at these flesh circuses.
Yeah, I feel like you could start a flesh fair right now and just like get a bunch of smartphones with different LLMs loaded onto them and just blast them out, like skeet shoot them out of the sky, and people would be like, yeah, woo, get the fucking ChatGPT, get the hell out of here, get Claude out of here, Grok, fuck you, Grok.
Yeah, people
take my job.
Do hate Grok.
Grok sucks.
Well, it does make people naked for no reason, which, is gray area. No, I'm kidding. But, like, everyone was cheering when ChatGPT was on the verge of bankruptcy, which I don't think will happen. But, like, you guys are missing the point. ChatGPT doesn't matter anymore, right? Like, Copilot is everywhere. The reason ChatGPT is in trouble is, ironically, I don't want to say you want to root for it, but at least it's an independent company. Like, Copilot, Google Gemini, like, those are billionaire companies with billionaire people. ChatGPT was an independent person. That's why they're failing.
OpenAI, with that new government contract, I think they might get a little boost there. And they're going to know everything about us, and they're going to kill us. They're going to create OpenAI kill bots. So look out for that. I mean, there's a lot of reason to hate a lot of these AI companies.
Oh, no.
So, which is why I'm going to start my Flesh Fair, and I'm going to
That's going to be Alex's his project, his writing project is going to be a Flesh Fair.
Yeah. Come to the Flesh Fair.
Well, and again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, you can't root for when one fails when they all need to go down a peg. That was my point. It's like, when people were standing up and, like, saying, like, thank God ChatGPT is failing, while, like, Grammarly is auto-correcting the grammar because they can't figure out where the comma goes. That to me is the problem.
What's really funny is this movie predicted that the world would flood, but actually AI is going to consume all of our water.
Well, you know what? At least that will keep me from flooding. Also, I mean, to me it's a layup, but the fact that Spielberg's like, they're going to have fuck bots.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I've been watching some documentaries on Pornhub, and the thing about them is, ladies love robots that just, that...
They
do one job and do it well. Huh?
They do it exactly right. You know what? They don't even need to crick their neck to make music play. I have that on Apple Music. Close the door. Thump, 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 thump.
I mean, yeah, so...
What do you know, Gigolo?
We don't... I mean, again, the spin-off, the prequel with Gigolo Joe. Come on. I don't... Like, you don't know...
Just shows up and throws his leg over the table.
They don't get into consciousness. Again, like, you don't know... If know if Joe enjoys being a gigolo,
what we were,
if he gets any pleasure out of it.
I think that he seems to.
He seems to.
But
he didn't know any different. He's programmed.
We also get from him the sense of, like, preservation. Like, I truly do think that he was doing things out of preservation necessity, whereas, like, the nanny robot didn't, right? But, like, Gigolo Joe.
He was a little more advanced.
Like, he brought the kid. Like, why would he care about helping a kid other than to, help himself?
He was pretty darn close to David in their closeness to humanity.
I agree.
Pretty close, because he actually adapted and changed and cared about someone else.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if they're talking about how David was, like, one of a kind and unique and everything else, or at least at one time, of course, they were creating a whole line of them. Professor Hobby
but they told him he was special.
Right.
They told him he was one of a kind.
They sure did.
And Gigolo Joe was so he was, like, along for the ride, right? When David was like, "I'm going to become a real boy," and he's like, "All right, well, I'll take you to the city, kid," And maybe that comes from him, like, giving people what they want.
Sure. Yeah, he's programmed to give people what they want.
Yeah. So it could be that, or it could really. But I got the impression that he was very human in that way.
He's wily. He gets the teenagers, one of which is Vinny Chase, Adrian Grenier, to drive him into Rouge City.
Wasn't one of them the voice of Sonic, Jason Marsden?
Oh, James Marsden.
James
Marsden was one of them.
Yeah, the one that
I just noted Adrian Grenier.
The one that he put it on his pants. That was
that was James
the one
Marsden.
that said "Let's go."
Oh, I thought that was Adrian Grenier.
I don't think so.
Well, never mind.
Well, and this is maybe just me. It reminded me of the old computer game like Mega Race or something, where you're just like driving through weird shit. Like it was a cool world, and that's what also referenced earlier. It reminded me of Blade Runner 2086 or whatever the second one was. Like, because that one is the one where he's talking to the 3D renderings as they come out of the walls, and the bisexual lighting where it's all the purples and blues. And
what movie did we watch where somebody had a holographic girlfriend?
Oh, the Sixth Day.
Oh yeah.
There was some of that in there.
Yeah.
Like, and to me, just in general, this was just cool set design. Like, the world is weird, and then we end up in like a red light district. Is that what you're? Yeah. Well, no, I was thinking of the Schwarzenegger movie, Get to the Mars.
Total Recall.
Total Recall, right?
Yeah,
like we do end up like, because all of a sudden it's like, wow, we're going to this weird slutty planet, and then there's one city, and then it's one city block.
Yeah.
Right. With like a bunch of boob statues just everywhere.
We all need boob statues. We get it.
Yeah. So Rouge City.
And that's where
all the ladies are. And like, it's so funny because Gigolo Joe has like one thing. He's like, I can help you in a horny way. And he goes, I'm looking for the blue fairy. What's she like? Well, she's a lady. I know where ladies are. I banged them all. Like, it is a lot.
And then he gives us a commentary on humans and religion when they.
I'm going to go to the Church of Our Lady of the Immaculate Erection, and like the idea is like, so do you go in here, or he goes like, no. I get them when they come out.
Yeah. They go in, they, say whatever they want to feel better about themselves, and then I meet them out here, like.
That's great.
And so then he takes them to Dr. No, because there's nothing he doesn't.
Yeah. This is an LLM. This is ChatGPT, because he fucks up. He gives them wrong answers. He answers things that he didn't ask.
Yeah.
This is
the real
ChatGPT.
Well, but also without your snarkiness, Mister. But it's also like, I have an answer for what your question is, and it's the answer that you asked the question of, right? Like, it's not Sherlock Holmes. It's like the Mad Hatter
Dr.
from Alice
Oz.
in Wonderland. Well, no, because he's evil. Like, I don't get the feeling this is evil.
No.
It's like you said, it's
like a riddle
thing. Like, you're the best at asking questions. Like, it's all
Well,
positive.
I thought this scene was interesting because Gigolo Joe kind of leads him up to it, and he's going to try to trick you, but you have to stay strong. You have to be careful. Like, he kind of knew that, or implied.
I've tangled with Dr. No before.
Yeah.
Mr. Bond. Like.
And then also, was the voice of the doctor Robin
It's Robin
Williams?
Williams.
100%.
Yep.
Like, I know that when they broke through and they got the poem about the blue fairy, that was Robin Williams, but I didn't know if
It was.
the doctor speaking was
Yep.
him. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Just
That was a
popping
surprise.
Popping up.
R.I.P. to one of the greats, man. Like.
And so that's when they find out that I guess it's at the end of the world, and luckily Gigolo Joe knows that that's Manhattan.
I hated that joke. It's where the end of the world is. The end of man. So we call it Manhattan. And you're just like...
Get it?
It's very Solo. I'm alone, so your name is Solo style non-joke.
I aged days, and then they turned into decades.
1,000 years.
1,000 years passed. No, it just, and it is what it is. And they're just like, now I need to steal a helicopter. And by the way, this scene kind of kicks ass. Like,
It's pretty cool.
they're roasting Gigolo Joe for being awesome. And then Haley Joel Osment's like, you know what I need to do? And he steals the other copter. And by the way, I'll just toss out there. If you have not seen A Minority Report in a while, it's a masterpiece of sci-fi fantasy nonsense. It really is. But that's what those helicopters reminded me of very much. Like, this feels like a lived-in world, just smaller sets. Minority Report comes out later. He's a little bit more like grasp on this. But they break away. He knocks out the cops, and we go to Manhattan. And they're flying around the desiccated city of Manhattan. And this is where the global warming thing is, but it's also, considering this came out 3 months before 9/11, a lot. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's when we watched Superman and there was like all these towers coming down, it's hard to watch because they knew what 9/11 did, and so they did it 50,000 more times. This just feels empty and apocalyptic, and that's it. Sorry. The thing that ruined us about 9/11 was, of course, that buildings had never fallen. That thing. The rough part about all of this is the visceralness of it all, because again, we've lived through 9/11 since, and so when we look at that Superman movie and there's just buildings falling, it's hard to watch. The apocalypse here is that those have fallen so long ago we no longer even care. The ruins of a civilization are in the desecration of a building. And so what we leave behind is what's important. Humanity in the modern day, with its, formaldehyde, is going to leave corpses that last centuries longer than they deserve to. And what is going to be left of our civilization but broken glass and steel? Like, it's just interesting the way that they do these things. And I think Spielberg is being very self-reflexive here. And the fact of the matter is, we learn nothing from it. He meets his self in this scene, and he destroys it. David destroys David, and then finds that it's futile. This is where not only it feels Kubrick, but to me, these are the scenes that feels both Kubrick and Spielberg in the most, because Kubrick is about the fact that humanity is not human. We're looking for humanity. Clockwork Orange. What's the fucking the Vietnam movie?
Full Metal Jacket.
Thank you. The Shining, even Eyes Wide Shut. These are movies where humans are not acting human, and we desperately need a human character. Spielberg is all about humanity. It doesn't matter if it's Indiana Jones punching someone, kids protecting E.T., Jaws, where it's literally the most man versus nature that has ever been. We even talked about the USS Indianapolis, which is the most horrific thing that's anyone ever survived. Even Jurassic Park, where it makes it look like Frankenstein is like a cabin boy compared to this nightmare. And for 1 second, they get it both right. We're looking at the desiccated human remains of New York City. And what do? We're trying to place humanity with robots, and the one robot who might have humanity can't take it and might as well kill his father. What amazing cinematography this is. What screenwriting, direction. And he's doing it in a building that should not survive anymore. God damn, this is a good scene. And guess what? It almost doesn't matter because aliens are going to show up at the end.
Yeah.
I know I went off on a tear there, but this is what makes it feel like a real movie to me.
In attempting the suicide, he puts himself in a position where he truly later can be unique,
Saved.
one of a kind, saved, and get some salvation a little bit. But yeah, he truly becomes one of a kind with the aliens later when the fiber optic aliens show up.
What was weird to me about that like scene where he destroys the other David is Gigolo Joe witnesses it and is terrified of what he sees and
Right.
runs away and disappears from the movie. And I just thought that was...
Well, he does save him.
And then he gets plucked out of there by
He saves him in the helicopter.
yeah.
And he sacrifices himself.
And then, he lets him go back down.
Well,
Yeah,
but
and he gets
again,
taken away from the
Oh, because he watches him jump.
by the magnet. He gets abducted out of there.
well, I mean, again, the question to me is, what does it mean to be a human? And Gigolo Joe maybe realizes that the kid
More human
made it.
than
Very
human.
Very human.
I don't know. Like, to me, what art does is make you have an emotion, and here I've felt emotion.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know. We last week we did Mannequin, and Mannequin is funny, but humor is an emotion to me. If it wasn't, why do I exist? but like this scene here where the kid not only doesn't realizes he's not unique, it seems like he realizes he doesn't matter, perhaps, so he kills himself, which is a lot. But then Gigolo Joe saves him, and then not only saves him, but sacrifices himself as he is like doing the thing. He's literally saving the kid. Another copter.
A copter.
Yeah, is pulling him away. He hits the submerge button, and it turns into a submarine, which is cool. And it's sinks to the bottom of, I guess, the East River.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you
supposed
can-
to be Coney Island,
You
basically,
can do
down
that,
there.
but if you put spinach on it, it just totally deactivates.
And then he just finds Pinocchio.
Yeah, the Blue Fairy. Apparently, Coney Island had a Pinocchio part of the theme park, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it's right there.
I believe it. I mean, it's Coney Island. Like, they would have had Scabies Land if it wasn't trademarked. But, like,
Scabies Land.
we've been there. In Cobb County, we called it American Adventures. I miss it. The Floam Factory.
Is that still there?
No.
I've been getting ads for
For American Adventures?
for some smaller theme park in the Atlanta area.
Well, I mean, there are smaller theme parks. There's one off of Lake Lanier. But if you go to Whitewater here and you walk into the queue to enter the entrance, you still see bits and bobs of the roller coasters and stuff. Inside the pavilion, which I imagine now is just like headquarters, there was a foam factory thing, which was just like the octagon, like we're in some sort of Schwarzenegger movie, but you had guns where you could shoot foam balls at people.
A few years ago, I was there. One of those blogs that's like abandoned theme park.blogspot.com. They had an American Adventures full. You can probably still find it.
Ooh,
but
I'd
like,
love that.
oh yeah, go find it somewhere.
One
Someone took a
day-
whole bunch of pictures. It's
One
really
day,
eerie.
poor stiff one for my wife, because she lived in a place called Aurora in Ohio. But there was a place called Chaga Lake, which was a roller coaster park, and it was on a little pond, and it got out of control. At one point, half of it became SeaWorld Ohio, and then it got bought out by Six Flags, and it was like this mom and pop kind of amusement park, and then it got all over the place, and then Cedar Fair bought it out, and the theory was they were going to try to bankrupt it, and so the locals think it's conspiracy to make sure people go to like Cedar Lake or Kings Island.
Kings Island. I've been there.
But the other side of it was also that Ohio's population was going down, and this is a Cleveland exoverb, and so like we're not sure what happened, but then they tore down the thing, and so there's urban explorer. It's a crazy story, and Candace will like, and again like, I'm the liquor person in the family, but pour her stiff drink, and she'll tell you a tale of a town or two. Just it's strange days. It's old Rust Belt America dying off. But.
Yeah, I used to go when I was a kid. We would go to Panama City because it was like 2.5 hours, and so we would go on day trips for field trips sometimes.
Oh,
and
sure.
There was an amusement park like next to the beach there called Miracle Strip.
Oh.
And I used to love to go, and at sunset I would go on the swings, the big spinny swing.
Sure.
And you'd go up super high and you could like see the ocean, and it was just like something that I loved so much and have such fond memories of, but that place is closed, so.
Well, for legal reasons, from sure. I was, last time we went beaching, I was thinking of my buddy Alex here, but we went to Jekyll, and I was just thinking, because when we were in 5th grade, there was a trip to Jekyll Island.
Oh, yeah. That's a big deal.
And they had the bioluminescence little...
you go on the beach
guys.
at night? Absolutely.
Everything
Yeah.
glowed, and
I want to do that.
And it was
fun.
It was the natural park too, like because we have Hilton Head is more of the the fancy ritzy beach. Jekyll Island was where the millionaires all had their mansions.
Yeah.
You have your Rockefeller and your Morgan, and we toured those, but because of that, they own the island more or less, and so it ended up mostly being a natural reserve, and so you can just like end up in the swamps, and they would give us like those booty things that would go up, and so you'd walk through the swamps and look at the natural stuff, and then you'd walk
I would
in
not
the
want
beach
to do
at
that.
night.
It was fun. You put in the big boots.
It's one of my favorite camping-y kind of things because the whole 5th grade went, and you would then you'd run through the beach, and there'd be these little bioluminescent squiddy things that would glow as you walked through the water. It was neat.
Do elementary schools still not do that in 5th grade? A bunch of them did. Like I had friends who went to other schools. It was like every
They're
school.
Alligators.
No, not
alligators.
in that kind of swamp. Well, okay, let's back up. Yes, in that kind of swamp, but not in the shallows where we were. Like, this was the preserve, so there were rangers walking us through it. It was not like, hey, let's let the kids roam free and like along the off-ramp on the way to the Okefenokee. Like, and by the way, if you don't let your kids run where gators should be, what are you even doing?
Yeah. Let your kids run where the gators may be.
Trying to not have my kids have a need to be cryogenically frozen, and for me to get an artificial child robot to replace my love for them.
So
would you be patient
you
with
should
with the artificial kid?
Let your kids run wild and free, because as the poet says, let your kids run wild and free.
Yeah, they can, just not in alligator swamps.
When last time we went to Disney, the one in Florida, not the one in hell. We were driving along, and I was like, hey, is that a gator? And I saw a gator. And my dad was like, no, gators don't exist like that. And we got stopped at a stoplight. There was just a gator, and I'm like, and she's like, okay, fine. And that's when she turned 14 all at once. Did you know aliens show up in the end of this movie?
Yeah, it's weird.
We've lost momentum.
Well, so are they aliens, or are they a refined, evolved version of the robots? Are they not an evolved version of the robots? And maybe I had to read to get to that.
No,
but I thought they were.
So my thought was, I don't want to say the same as yours. I watching it, my thought was, I don't know what these things are. Are they? My first thought was advanced humans, but I don't know.
I think they are advanced. They are the robots who have evolved, and they are very interested in mining David's memories because he is the link to kind of like the progenitor of the whole thing and why they're there also, humans. So they really,
And there are no other machines that survived that long.
Nobody else tried to throw themselves off of a ledge in Manhattan and then froze for 2,000 years, I guess. You'd think there would be some somewhere.
No, I mean, so in my head, I thought of Indiana Jones, but in extremis. Like, the idea of Indiana Jones is he is a dude who has studied this his entire life. And so, therefore, he understands humanity. Yeah, 2,000, 3,000 years ago, right? Like, when we're talking Hebrew scriptures and the Ark of the Covenant, we're talking like 3,500 years ago or whatever. That's what this is the other way around, right? Like, what is it like to know what humans were like? Because we're told it's 2,000 years later, after the world has frozen and everything. So it turns out it gets colder eventually.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. To me, this is the opposite of the scene earlier that I like so much. This feels very clunky to me because, like, 2001, which is a movie I understand a lot of people don't like because they don't get, and I'm not saying like on my pedestal, smoking my pipe, I get it 100%, but it's also a movie that does not bother to hold your hand. There's no narrator, no one gives a shit, and at the end, all of a sudden we see an old man in a hospital bed, and millennia have passed, I guess. Who knows? Who gives a shit? It's interesting. It's an art film. It's like looking at Mondrian or something. I get the lines. Who cares? This feels like the narrator hurts it because it's like, don't worry, dum-dum, we're going to help you. I kind of wish it was either there or it wasn't, and if it was there, let's simplify this a bit. But if it wasn't there, you're just like, my red wine is telling me I get the point. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, one of them
talking.
Yeah, the narration starts back up, and I guess the narrator the whole time has been one of these future robots, right? I guess through the whole movie. Is that what's going on? Because there is narration all the way from the beginning.
Kennedy saying, "Steven, you got to figure this out."
And then one of the future things starts talking briefly, but then like the rest of the communication is silent. Yeah, it's a little confused as to how it wants to present everything to you. Yeah.
Hey, Alex, what would make it even sadder?
It's sad. It is sad, but it's bittersweet. There's some redeeming value for David.
Okay,
in this whole thing.
So let me paint the scene. For 2,000 years, he looks at the blue fairy. We're told, with Teddy. And he says, apparently, his out loud prayer is, "I want to be a real boy." For 2,000 fucking years.
Just stares. Teddy's got to be bored as shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he runs out of fuel, too. He runs out of gas, too. They both run out of gas.
Yeah. And then one day the headlights ran out. And yet David kept praying, "I wish I was a real boy." And then the blue fairy. So he's pinned underneath a Ferris wheel because, I don't know, man, the devil of the White City. And the whole time, that's what he's praying for. Until the world ends, everything freezes, and then a bunch of aliens out of Descent or something show up, thaw him out, and wake him up. And they're like, "Hello, David. We're just aliens. It's 2001. You don't even know what the fuck you're looking at. Poor Haley Joe Osment has to act against nothing. And then they just read his mind, and we see all the times he got his first erection or whatever. And they're like, we're going to put you in the same apartment you died in, or whatever. He's wandering around, Mom! Mommy! Mom! And it just becomes that bit from Stewie Griffin. Just like, Mama,
Mommy,
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 Mama, Mom,
Mommy.
Mommy.
Meow.
If only we had DNA, we could recreate your mother. And then Teddy's like, remember that shit from an hour and a half ago? That was pretty cool. And he pulls like this lock of hair out of who knows what.
out of his, just rips it out of his own stomach.
And after 2,000 years, it's still hair, I guess.
I think he actually does rip it out of his own stomach because then he's sewing himself back up.
Are you sitting down? You are. Because this is Genesis, where out of his ribs, he's going to create Eve.
Teddy is Adam? Teddy is the first man?
No.
There you go.
But here's the thing, is flipping it on his head. None of them are real, but she is. So out of nothing, they're going to create Eve. Right? Like, women are first in this universe. But that's literally what this is. Kubrick's Catholic guilt here. But, like, then the alien, human, robot, whatever consciousness this is. And I was convinced it was an alien. And by the way, the UFO group says, if you saw this alien, what would you say? I'm like, well, it's clearly Steven Spielberg, so that's what Steven says. But they're just like,
oh, they're
she
like,
can only live
whoopsie,
for one day.
we can't get it quite right. Yes, they can only live for a day.
Because of the quantum mind stream.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
And then there it goes, and so David had his best day ever. And you're just like, David had never had a birthday before, and yet it is because he was never born. And you're just like, narrator, why are you so now?
The narration jumping in was it was a little different. I don't know how I feel about it completely. Yeah, I like I said, I at the beginning I said I liked the last 30 minutes, and I do for the most part. I do.
And then they go, and then David fell asleep forever. The end.
And Teddy's just sitting there. What's he gonna do?
He's gonna get his own spin-off called Ted, and he's gonna hang out with Marky Mark and all of his funky bunch.
I love that for him.
Well, I do too.
It is amazing.
I feel like that's more like a prequel for Ted, though.
Could you imagine? He's in 2 movies where he gets to tell people to fuck off, and all of a sudden he's like, and then Steven Spielberg said, don't talk so much. And they made him old.
So we're mixed on the resolution to the whole movie.
I think we're mixed on all of it.
Which is why it was an episode. We've talked longer on this than Mannequin. Kieka, what are your final thoughts?
If you want to feel
sad
and confused, watch this movie.
I feel that way every time I'm looking at myself naked in a mirror. Alex?
I meant to mention the score of this movie is just, I think it's incredible. Like
it's a great soundtrack.
And it's John Williams too.
Yeah.
It's John Williams. I mean, your Star Wars, your Indiana Jones. I mean, I watched a whole bunch of the Olympics, Superman. So the Olympics music is John Williams. This is very different than that. This is future. Well, it's almost, a lot of it is kind of like it reminds me of some of the like 2001 score and the sort of modern classical music.
But also like Zimmer and like
just moody and atmospheric instead of soaring and like Aaron Copland the whole time. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that because that stuck out to me, and I love John Williams. He's a national treasure. But I thought it was at times a very beautiful piece of film. to me. They gloss over kind of a lot of things. I'd be interested to read the short story that spawned this whole thing that came about in the 70s, and apparently Kubrick wanted to do it for a long time. And of course didn't get to, but they gloss over the consciousness thing and a lot of the morality stuff. They just kind of mention it and kind of leave it hanging out there. But otherwise, like I mentioned, it's a pretty beautiful piece of film that I feel like has gotten a little bit more of its due in later years from some corners. There'd be people kind of reassessing it. And this is the first time I saw it, so that's I really liked it.
I'm trying to figure out how to put this properly because I think it's interesting in that I feel like Spielberg is a genius of filmmaking. I don't think anyone would argue with that. But his core focus as an artist is completely different than this film. I feel like Kubrick is the same. He's a genius. But there's not a single film of Spielberg's I can think of that Kubrick could direct and would make it better. Like, Kubrick could not do a Close Encounters or an E.T. or a Jurassic Park or even a 1941 as well as Spielberg. But I also don't think Spielberg could do The Shining. Because of that, this movie to me is not only complex but fascinating because it's like you said, a Kubrick idea done by a mass market person, and he clearly was trying to direct it like a Kubrick. Like, this isn't like War of the Worlds where he made it his own or something. So because of that, to me, it's an artistic fascination. Like, it truly is. It doesn't feel like a parody or satire. It just feels like something that neither of them would have done otherwise. And because of it, it feels like the emotions at their core are wrong. Look at Jaws. Look at Jurassic Park. Look at like, so much of this are the male protagonist in Spielberg is avoiding any sort of responsibility. They are maybe trying to save children. They're maybe trying to figure something, but they don't want the kids themselves. Like, Spielberg directs broken homes, distracted relationships, people looking for relations, but not finding it. Kubrick, on the other hand, talks about the intensity of human relations and how difficult and flawed that can be. This is both of them. There's a functioning relationship. A kid is almost killed. And that's the kind of thing that should lead to divorce. Not should, but can. Definitely can. Often leads to divorce. But instead they replace it with a proxy who's almost human. The kid responds, the kid survives, and therefore there is humanity inserted in places it shouldn't be. To me, this is the hardest thing Spielberg has ever directed until Fabelmans. I think this is very good. It's a hard film. It's probably the most complex that we've done on the main feed in a very long time. I liked it. I apologize for ranting, but this is the film study part where I feel like I have any sort of qualification. But in the meantime, thank you for listening. I promise they won't all be this difficult to talk about. But aliens don't show up at the end of most of these, I don't think. But thanks. Last thought, Alex? Welcome.
Visually beautiful. I mean, really.
Kidding. Anyway. Thank you. Keegan, anything?
No.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for doing what you do to keep us on the charts. If you're interested in doing a movie or us doing a movie that you want us to do, rather, consider looking at our Amazon page. If you buy it, we will do it. And on top of that, we'll record some sort of riff just for you. We'll send it to you, full HD. I promise. In the meantime, we're just about out of time. So please review us, rate us, and do all the things you do to keep us on the charts. Thanks, everyone.
Myopia Movies is executive produced by Nick Hoffman and produced by Alex Ewalt, Kieko Childs, Matt Quinn, Nick Hoffman, and Noor Trinette. It is edited and engineered by Noor Trinette. The theme song is Surf Shimmy by Kevin MacLeod from Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. All rights reserved. Thanks for listening.